going on with my computer and this and the streaming setup. But we here now, and that's all that counts, man. Welcome, Winston Alozie. All right,
Hey
you
everybody,
can hear me.
what's up everybody?
All right, guys. So we're gonna do things a little bit differently. Um, I don't know if you guys can hear him. If you can hear him, good. But then hopefully you just not hear him twice, But that's the whole issue, So first off, we're gonna I want to introduce Winston and Alozie, not only just as a CEO of the Bethlehem Boys and Girls Club, but he also was a mentor of my life, throughout many purposes. And just as a child, when I was a child, things were even better, because that's when we was able to meet, and when things were all put together, man, everything it was all said and done at the Boys and Girls Club Southside Bethlehem, right? And it was amazing because not only was it me, but it was a bunch of my cousins, a bunch of my friends. We were always joined up, every day at the Boys and Girls Club, and the memories. The memories is what made us come back. Those memories. The staff and everything that they provided us. The food. The comfort, the warmth, everything that all the above. And the mentoring that they were able to provide. And thanks to bringing him today, I was able also to reach out to Mark, and he was also part of the Bethlehem Boys and Girls Club when I was a child, and it was amazing, guys. So this is gonna be a great talk. We're gonna start off by I want to ask you, Winston, if you can tell a little bit about yourself, and a little bit about your role and how it plays a big part in the society right now.
Sure, sure. Before I even get into that, Devin, I want to tell you thank you. To your listeners, we've been trying to do this for a minute. For whatever reason,
Yes.
schedules wasn't lining up and technology wasn't on our side, but I'm grateful for this blessing to be here and to be on with you. And I want you to know how proud I am of you. I watch every evening, and I'm so that you're doing this, and how you're a great father, and you're a provider, and you're doing your best, and you're doing something that is out of the box, but at the same time is so artistically challenging and it's so educational. You should be commended. You should be proud of yourself. So I'm really glad to be here with you tonight.
I respect that, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you, man, from my heart.
No problem. My story is I like to think that it's simple, but there are a lot of facets. So I have been employed by the Boys and Girls Club of Bethlehem since 2003 in some way, shape, or form. And for your listeners that know us, know you, and know me, some of them may not be surprised to hear that. But what they ought to be surprised by is that I was only 15 at that time. And then even earlier to that, 2001 or really 2002, that summer was my first summer. I was a community service worker, and so I did volunteer work at Yosco Park. I was assigned to Yosco Park. I was a junior staffer, community service student, and I was assigned at Yosco, and I worked with Scott that summer. Right. And they liked my work ethic, that they brought me on in the fall to run the games or to help with homework. Right. And then that spring, they hired me full time. And when they hired me full time, I was to help with doing homework in the games room. So spring of 2003, wherever y'all were at, that's when I started. Like I said, I was a teenager myself that was, at some points in charge. So wow, that's crazy. But my family moved to Pennsylvania in 2001. I was not originally from here. And what really helped me and my brothers and sisters get acclimated to Bethlehem and to become part of it, Sergio!
There you go, man, Sergio.
made it to Bethlehem was the Boys Club. And it was coming there, hanging out with everybody. Yasko Park, being there with everybody. That's what made, for me, I'll speak for my siblings, but they can speak for themselves, made us feel part of this community, this new life, this new way of doing things. So I owe a lot of it to that. And so from those experiences, I continued to work through the club. I became the youngest summer camp coordinator the club ever had. I became the camp coordinator at 17. That even made the Bethlehem Press. I ran summer day camp for like 8 years, and I loved it. And that inspired me through college. I started off in college as a biology student, but my experiences at the club were really impactful for my life.
Yeah.
Working with so many young people, looking back, they were like only a couple years younger than I. But when you're the big brother in the room, or you're the person in charge of the room, like you got to do what you got to do. So to have been there was very important. And then, excuse me, hey, I'm doing something. Y'all can't keep yelling. I got kids, y'all. I got kids.
No worry, right? It's all good.
Yeah, but from doing that and working at the club, summer camp, Yasko, that really impacted me to get a degree in psychology and say I wanted to help people. So from that, I worked at Kids Peace, came back, worked at the club in 2012, and I've been there ever since. I took some time off working at Brocco, but even that was still through the club.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my history in a nutshell.
Wow.
All of that led me to becoming the CEO of the Boys Club.
Manifestation, and it was like years after years, you were consistently going there, being involved with the community, being involved with, the children. They gave you, man, dude, I listened to this dude named Inky Johnson, man. He says like you may reach for one, in other words, you may reach for one thing, but at the end, like, if you really stay consistent, you're gonna get something much more better off, dude. And CEO of Bethlehem Boys and Girls, dude, for me to be able to talk about this now, dude, I feel so great. You know what I mean? It feels like all this was supposed to happen, so I'm really proud of you, man. I told you this, we had my first time actually having a talk with you about anything about the Boys and Girls Club. My conversation was from when we went from not seeing each other in a little bit to having almost an hour conversation right off bat. Everything was just right. The vibe, man.
So many people that when I meet with them, even if it's folks that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk and I tell them who I'm with and what I'm doing, they're quick to tell me what the club did for them and how impactful it was and how much having Scott and Lisa
that's gonna come. That's coming.
Yeah, it's so much. So it's crazy. It's funny. I always said, working with Scott, because understand, I worked with Scott every summer of my life from 2002 up until 2 years ago.
All right.
And for a long time, I would say, I'm not about to be Scott out here. I'm not gonna be working with the kids of my friends. I'm not gonna be working at the Boys Club the rest of my life. And look at where I'm at.
Dude, and it's impactful, dude. And your lives you're changing, man. And I didn't want to jump into it, but you asked for it, man. All right. So I know we're gonna have many comments. I know we're gonna have many people here. You know what I mean? They're gonna see this, and when they hear this, at this point in time, this is where it's all gonna start, dude. But yeah, dude, you, Mark, Scott, the older Mark, Lisa. Every single one of you guys had a huge impact on our life, dude. There was a reason why we had to approach you when we no matter what. If I'm not wrong, if I'm right, drop a 100. All right. Without a doubt, we had to stop and see you before we encountered that gym. you know, because it was just all respect, you know. We were proud of the fact that you were giving us this place to, you know what I mean. And even at the end of the day, sometimes we even gave us a little bit more time, you know. So like, how much more can we think, you know? We got a little whooping at home, but dude, like we felt good, man. You know, we came back at the end of the day. You know, being in the kitchen, helping you guys, you know, and you know, serve food, dude. It was just like we had you had to be involved every day, like, every other week. You know what I mean? You didn't have to be there. You can come to one. You could be a random person, just come one or two times and feel the impact of how much that this gym. You know what I mean? This man, I had my first dance off. It was a crunk battle. It was a crunk battle inside the game room where the foosball table was, dude. It was so funny, man. You're not gonna lie, yo. It was, you know, it was me and this. I don't know if you guys know Cam. Cam was in there. And then Ramel. I'm pretty sure Ramel was in there with a few other guys. Dude, I remember like nothing, man. Like when those memories you can remember, man. I remember being in the back. I was out in the playground, you know, shooting hoops. Me and my cousins and my brothers, you know, one of our first few times, you know, playing, you know, just together. You know what I mean? By ourselves in the back. Things are always great, man. You know.
Yeah.
So
definitely, so many people are able to share those memories. I see my boy William Sergio, man. It kept so many kids off the street, so many people. And Devin, you said a piece that is true. If Boys and Girls Clubs all throughout the world, all throughout the United States.
Right.
So many people say, "I just needed one time to come." That's really what it did for me.
Mm-hmm.
I met Scott in the summer. My brother Chisholm had already started going to the Boys Club. He already started coming to the Boys and Girls Club. He was already there, but that was his thing. I met Scott later that summer. I came. I hung out at Yasco. Then I stopped by one time, but I didn't come till that fall. But it just took me one time, and that one time I was like, "Oh, I like this." To have a place where young people can come and feel valued and be with their friends and be with people who their peers and be like-minded. That is so important on so many levels. You know,
right, it is.
And then from different things, so you had the kids from Holy Infancy. Back in those days, I think St. Cyril's was still open, so you had kids from St. Cyril's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, right next door. There.
You had the public school kids. You know, you had kids who, you know, it didn't matter. Their parents had money. Their parents had the money. It didn't matter. You came to the Boys Club. You was there until your parents picked you up, or you were allowed to walk home.
Right.
And that was kind of like a level playing field.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Man. Wow. So what's the biggest challenge you have? What's going on?
No, somebody said hi in the chat.
Oh, hey, how you doing, y'all? Serena, how you doing? And we have so I'm gonna ask you this: what's the biggest challenge you've had within your specific role right now, and how are you going to overcome it? You know, this is not really a spot up, you know, like a on the spot question. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of roles you have, and you could just talk about one if that's all right. You know what I mean?
That's fine. This is a great question. So I'm going to share this because a lot of us that I run into, you know, they want to do so many good things. You would talk to me about things you want to do, starting nonprofits, doing things to help the community and stuff like that, which I encourage you. If that's what you want to do it. Don't let nobody stop you. That's great. The biggest challenge for me has been understanding how multifaceted this role is. So it is not just me, like the little kids say, "Oh, you own the club." No, dude, no one owns the club. Like that's not a thing. But having to realize that there are days that I'm the chief janitor, there's days I'm the education coordinator, but my biggest role, the most complicated part of my job, is the fundraising piece. And understanding that fundraising, right, is not just asking people for money. Like, oh, well, you donate to the club. There are a lot of people who believe in the club and will donate to the club and will do all of that. That's great. But understanding the science of like, this is how you ask. This is how you go. This is how you do. This is how you approach donors. These are the different levels of who donates to your campaigns, who donates to your programs, and then actually making sure people follow through with that. So it's hard. So like,
it is.
The hardest part again of my job is being that person, because it's asking for those donations, but then, you know, how I ask an alum of the club, somebody who grew up like you, like Malachi. What's up, Malachi? Malachi and all his brothers came through the club. How I approach you guys versus how do I approach the CEO of Air Products or the CEO of the Iron Pigs? You know, it's a different type of ask. It's a different type of relationship. You know, so how do I turn that on and off? You know what I'm saying? And I have to do a lot of that. Like, I spent so much time away from the club, just at rich people's offices, or I shouldn't say rich people's offices, but at people who have the connections, people who have the financial resources. Doing that, I spent a lot of time doing that, and that's not what I thought my job was going to be really honest. But I do like it, because in that, I get to tell people the things that you just said, what Sergio said, what so many people said, what the club has done for me, and what it did for me, and what it did for Christine, and for Chisholm, and for Justin, and for Angie, all of my people, what it did for us. So I love going out and telling that story.
Dude, man, that's what fires everybody up too, dude. Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
You know why? So I love staying with that type of topic, because everybody knows it's from the heart, right?
Right.
And most of all, like, you can't. There's nothing to lie about that. You know, like,
right.
There's nothing but value here. You know, and there's nothing but, you know, heart to heart. You know, so I know you gain relationships. And I don't want to sound too personal because I know there's a very big difference when it comes to, you know what I mean, the relationships you have with, you know what I mean, the business, and then the children, you know.
Right.
So when I ask this, just keep that in mind, but because I know you had you know, one of these, you know, maybe a kid or a child, maybe a few. What is one thing that you have that you've had? What is one thing that your program did for your kids, and that you didn't expect? Like, what have you did? What didn't you expect? You know.
This is a good question. I'm going to give you a generic answer, but it's not an easy answer. Again, when I run into people that tell me that the club saved their life, or the club taught them something, or the club was there for them, that to me is absolutely amazing. And you know, there are some people that in all honesty, I expect here, because when you get into the roles, particularly the roles that I had in the past, program director, as summer coordinator and stuff, you see the kids, but you see their parents, you see their life, their home life, and stuff like that. Right. And I was the person too. Like some people can tell you, Winston came to my house, and Winston told my mom or my dad, or he was at the car talking to my mom and letting her know. Like, I made it a point to continually have those conversations. I will run into people whom I thought, or I assumed that they had decent home lives, or whom, you know, were not under the radar of this kid we need to pay attention to because of drugs, because of at risk, because of da-da-da-da-da. Right. But kids who would never expect, that are now in their mid-20s, or, you know, on the cusp of 30, would say, this is what the club did for me. And if it wasn't for the club, like, I would have never had friends with that. People I would never have expected. And I think that that's a big thing. The other thing that the club has done for me is made me more empathetic to lives that I never lived.
Right.
You know, the way that I grew up and what I did, like, I was very straight. Like, for the most part, y'all know me. I'm pretty straight laced. I'm not, you know, into a whole bunch of stuff. But it allowed me to be open to people who have been. You know, I never smoked weed, but I have friends who smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? And I've come to a place where I don't judge them. You know what I'm saying? You know, I grew up in a very conservative home, so for a long time I did not understand like homosexuality. I did not understand what that was about, or so I had very conservative, somewhat negative views about it. And because of working at the club and working with kids who were lesbian and gay, and then having kids like come out to me even before their parents, and me having to man up and show love and be there for them, those are things that I never expected to be. I never expected that to happen, and it's been amazing. It's taught me a lot.
Oh man, that's like something that people you can't like teach, man. And I wish like, I mean, you can't say wish you don't go to school. I wish kids don't go to school because need school, but through experiences in life, like you can't. It's so uncomparable,
Oh yeah, experiential learning is out of this world.
And I thank you so much, man, because this has given me more experience. You know what I mean? Not only being able to just be on camera, but being able to speak, upon not just what I know, but ask the right questions.
Right. Well, thank you,
man. Thank you. And I hope. I mean, I know. Let's just make this. Let's just throw this out there. Congratulations on this. All the milestones you've had accomplished, man. Because I know you're not finished. Guys, if there's anything you guys want to ask Winston real quick before we let off here. I'm gonna give you guys the respect of doing that. If you guys want to ask them a question, ask
While
me.
we wait for those questions, I do want to say that. So I'm not thanking you because it's polite, and I'm not thanking the listeners and the followers because it's polite. But I want people to understand who I am, or let me say who I am. The things that I have been blessed to do, leadership roles, whatever, have happened because people here in Bethlehem, people in Southside, people at Freedom, people at Bracco thought that I was capable, thought I was trustworthy, thought I was, compassionate enough or intelligent enough or whatever the case may be, and let me do things. Right. So there's not a time that I walk into a room, like when I vote for stuff for our school district, when we have our moment of silence, I pray every time to thank God for allowing me to go, that whatever I'm thinking about and deciding on is positively impacting someone like you, Devin, someone like your brother and your cousins and your parents,
all of them,
people that I know, and how that spreads out. So I'm grateful. I'm really grateful, especially to all of y'all that are listening. In the part for those of you who've experienced me now at the point where I take care of your siblings or your kids, I'm appreciative that you trusted me. I'm appreciative that you said, you know what, I'm gonna let this little weird black dude, sit there and walk my kids to Sand Island and do science experiments in the games room, or run basketball tournaments. I'm appreciative of you guys that still to this day have, the games room certificates and the trophies that I made for you guys.
Oh man,
like I have those things, man.
What?
I got pictures of you summer camp. Man.
Oh man,
I got a picture of
we're gonna
my brother playing basketball in the gym.
This felt so good, man. My brother still has that trophy from the last. It was actually it was our last championship football game inside the gym. Yeah. When we did I think it was 6-on-6 or 5-on-5, man.
Yeah.
Man, I already know. We're gonna have another moment one of these days real soon. We're gonna have multiple of these because I ain't quitting this. Guys, I know this feels good. I love doing this. I've manifested my life into this.
Thank you.
And Like even doing the birthday shout outs. Like everything's working out for the reason, man. And
Right. For sure, man. God has a plan for everything, man.
so let's see. Anybody have any questions for Winston? Sup, Olivia? Sup, Omar? Appreciate you, man. They already know, man. All right, man. We got a. I really appreciate it. I can't really thank you. I know there's gonna be more times, but it's because it's gonna. I know it's gonna sound pretty redundant, but you changed my life. You know what I mean? And I know we tried many times to get on a talk show, but the fact that you stuck with me, you know what I mean, and we were able to stick together and just make this work. And this is actually one of the reasons why some of the this is actually some of the reasons why it wasn't working. Am I doing? You agree? So like
everything happens for a reason.
So yeah, man.
There's a purpose under heaven. There's a reason for everything. So
right.
I'm glad that it happened now and it happened the way it did. I'm glad that those who are on the lines are on the line. Malachi, man, you better hit me up, man. I want to hear how you're doing, man. I see your little brothers from time to time, but I never see you, so I want to hear how you're doing. I just ran into Serena at the store. Like, I just ran into her.
Wow.
And I'm so proud of her. And, she's off, becoming a woman in society, got her own place, just being independent. My man, Sergio, man, he's out here doing the things he got to do, man. So, and there's plenty others who now, Olivia, so just seeing so many people doing so well and doing so many good things is a good thing. So I'll be going to come back anytime. I will give as many secrets as I can, without telling things that I can't tell, or things that'll get me in trouble. But I'm just grateful. I'm so blessed. I'm grateful.
Thank you, man. Hey guys, well, thank you. I thank you guys so much for joining the 2-minute talk show. And as you know, we're gonna keep providing the value. I'm gonna keep bringing it. You guys can make sure you guys just put click on the notification link. Join my 2-minute talk show. I sent out the links. And is there anything that you have upcoming, Winston, that you want to talk about? You want to know?
So I'll say two things. So I talked about fundraising, right? So for all of y'all that are, intrigued to know what the Boys Club is doing, the Bethlehem Boys and Girls Club, we're still trying to do what we can do. This year is 90 years that the club has been in existence. So
man, what?
Continue that legacy, man. It's not easy. 90 years, right?
What?
It's not easy. Yeah.
Damn.
So we're trying to continue those things. So you're going to see a couple more things coming up. We have a couple, honestly, fundraisers because, every dollar we get keeps the lights on, keeps Scott and Lisa paid. You know what I'm saying? And those things are important because we're only as good as our staff. If you don't trust the people watching your kids, you're not sending your kids. And if there aren't kids at the Boys and Girls Club, it's not open, plain and simple. Right. But we're trying to do that. Deb, I know you had started the conversation. It is not a rumor, but it is just not solidified. We are looking to eventually get a Southside club back in Bethlehem. It will most likely not be at 115 East 4th Street, the building that we all know and love. But just keep your eyes out for that, and just continue to support. If you see a fundraiser, hey, if you got a spare dollar, send it. If you have, things that you want to do and volunteer, come through. We want kids to learn everything. If you have a trade, a skill, that you say, hey, I want to show kids how to, spackle and do drywall or do some nails or, how to, install a good lace front. I don't care. Come and teach these kids. Get in here. Let them be successful like you are.
Right.
Because no matter where you're at, the fact that you're here right now is success. Right. So to all of you that are on here right now, if you can see me, if you can hear me, listen to me well. Where you're at now, you are a success. I don't care if you're living in your mom's basement. I don't care if you can't get up every day, if you feel so sad. I don't care. The fact that you made it through the hardships of life and made it this far, you are a success. So success builds. Continue to build. Hey, you made it through the day. The next day, you can make it through the next day. Keep building yourself up. Don't stop. Don't quit. be diligent, be determined, be dedicated, be disciplined, and it'll continue to grow.
Hey, we're gonna leave it off with that. We'll see you soon, guys.
All right. Good night.